Good morning, good life. You're listening to Detail Therapy, episode 76, 5 Bad Habits I Broke to Become Self-Employed.
She's an award-winning YouTuber and best-selling author, obsessed with helping you go after the life you want.
I like it.
Join her as she seeks out the stories and strategies.
Give me every little detail.
Of extraordinary people who found success.
I'm going to get emotional. Oh my God.
Welcome to Detail Therapy with Amy Landino.
Today is an episode dedicated to those of you who are interested in taking control of your financial freedom and venturing out on your own. We're going to discuss what it takes to be self-employed. Do you have it? The bad habits I used to have in my day-to-day life that got in the way of me becoming a successful entrepreneur that I needed to and definitely did quit. And finally, if you're still ready to start and grow your business after this, stay tuned for a special announcement at the end of the episode, and something new that I have not talked about yet will be shared publicly here. This is a very exciting time, so I'm very excited for you to listen in on that. Before we get into it, for those of you who are new to the show, my name is Amy Landino, and I will be your host. You can think of me as your number one productive lifestyle and success coach. I'm the founder of Gatlu House, a resource dedicated to helping you go after the life you want. In addition to this podcast, we produce the award-winning YouTube series Amy TV, of which I am also the host. I've also authored 2 best-selling books, including Good Morning, Good Life, which is now available on Amazon. Links to everything I talked about will be in the show notes at our new home base on the internet, gatlu.com. So I've been doing a lot of reflecting lately, mostly because I have a super fun announcement that I'm going to make, but I like to reflect anyways. It's not weird, but mostly about the changes I've made in my life. When I think back 10 years ago, I was really ramping up my side hustle to leave my job. And when I finally did, there was a part of me that thought I might have to ask for my job back. And nobody really wants to do that, right? Like, no one wants to admit that they were wrong. Nobody wants to admit that, oh God, this was a terrible mistake. I don't know what I was thinking. And so that fear was there. I wanted to prevent that from happening, which, as you can see, I did prevent from happening. It's now a decade later. I never had to go back to that job, never had to ask for it, never had to say, dang, made a huge mistake. But the reason for that was some pretty major adjustments that I had to make in my life to increase the probability of success. So today I want to talk about those things, and specifically the bad habits that were in my life that I had to break to give myself that chance of not only going out on my own, but staying out on my own, and having that freedom to live the life that I wanted to live and make my money the way I wanted to make my money. So that's what we're getting into today. I've got 5 bad habits for you, and we're just going to dive right in because you know I don't like to waste a lot of time. Number 1, and you all know this, you're going to hear this one, you're going to be like, no, duh, Amy. Like, clearly you're really good at that because your girl, she wrote a book about it, right? So number 1, bad habit, had to quit, didn't look back, couldn't do it. It's tempting. Sometimes, it gets the best of us, but for the most part, it's gone. Hitting the snooze. Why is this important? First of all, you guys know I wrote Good Morning, Good Life. I'm a huge believer in the morning routine, no matter what time your morning routine is. This is not a lecture on what time to wake up. This is simply a discussion around the control you have in your life when you have it. Sometimes it's in that last 15, 20, 30 minutes you've been hitting the snooze that you could have been up and started the day on your terms. When I was side hustling, this was very, very, very important because I had to give my undivided attention to a full-time job on a regular basis. So the only time I was able to start and grow a business outside of that was, you guessed it, before or after that job was happening. So my morning routines were important because it wasn't just about waking up on my terms. It was waking up and doing some things for my business that I wasn't going to be able to do or work on until after the business day had ended and my full-time job could take a back seat again. So hitting the snooze was a really, really bad habit. I think the other side of the coin with this one is that when you do this, it's typically a sign that you're not excited about what you're up to. And guess what? That's true if you're listening to this podcast and you don't like your job right now. You could probably think of a number of times consistently you've been hitting the snooze because you're not excited. Even if you were to just get a whole hour or 30 minutes or even just 15 minutes earlier in the day before you had to give it away to your full-time job, focus on that because that's your job to do that. It's not even that exciting sometimes to get that time to yourself in the morning because ultimately you've got to give 8 hours of your day away to someone else. Now, you're not completely giving it away. You have negotiated a fair rate for it. It's called your paycheck. But it sure feels like you're giving it away, right? Because we can make more money, but we can't make more time. We cannot make more time. So every time you're hitting the snooze, no matter how motivated or not that you are, not even judging that, just every time you hit the snooze, it's just a factual action. You cannot get that time back. It was a bad habit that I had to quit in order for me to see the vision of starting a full-time gig of my own. Side hustling can only get you so far because there's only so many hours in the day that you can give to it. To get more hours means you have to leave that other position at some point. And the best way to start wanting and getting more time in your life is to actually act like it. So number 1, bad habit, hitting the snooze. Quit it. I did. Life-changing, will be a lot easier if you're working on something you're very passionate about, which is what I hope your potential side hustle or current side hustle or passion project or whatever it is can do for you. The second bad habit I had to break in order to become self-employed, watching too much television. Oh, God, I used to love TV so much, like so much. And I'm not even like acting like I don't love it now. There are certainly shows that I think are more than worth my time. But I think a lot of people can relate. It's kind of like when I think at this moment in time, it's kind of like you hear about those parents that find out their kids started smoking cigarettes. So they make them sit there and smoke every single cigarette in the pack. In quarantine, I think there are actually people who are finishing Netflix. like there's nothing else. You smoked all the cigarettes in that packet, right? So maybe you've gotten to a point where you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I thought I loved TV and now I'm just so over it. I've seen all the good stuff. Nothing else is exciting to me. What else is there to do? I can't leave my house. That's definitely the moment that we're in right now. If you're listening to this at a later date, you might recall this. But yeah, watching too much television can probably relate. But even when you have a lot of other things going on and you don't even think you watch that much television, but it's amazing how after work, it's like 3 or 4 hours of programming that you've watched before you like start to think about maybe I should go to bed soon or maybe I should do something else. And you realize how late it is. It's just incredible how programming can be so amazing that you don't even keep track of time. I remember sitting down with Anthony Iannarino. He is known as a sales expert and he's local to Columbus, and he and I have just been really good friends for a long time. I've definitely looked to him as a mentor in the past, and I remember going to lunch with him very, very, very early on in my journey of being self-employed. And he said, after I was talking about something, I guess, I don't know, I don't even remember if I was talking about a show. I just remember him looking at me and going, you're probably watching too much TV. And I looked at him like, what? That can't possibly be the problem. That can't possibly be why I'm not making more money. And I was like, really taken aback by that. But it's amazing when somebody actually has the audacity to tell you something, but they're not trying to get a rise out of you. They're not trying to knock you down. They're just trying to say like, no, I think this could be the source of the issue, just objectively speaking. And it's a moment I remember so well because I realized he was right. If I'm turning the TV on, if I'm opening up Instagram with no intention of doing anything except for scrolling, if I'm doing something mindless so that my mind can potentially think about that while I don't actually have to actively think, that's like an amazing anomaly that we want ourselves to do, isn't it? Okay, I don't want to do anything, but I got to hear something right now, so I'm going to turn the TV on. Like, it's not going to rope us in. These people are very good at what they do, okay? They make amazing shows that you binge. And let me tell you something, I am binging in quarantine, no doubt about it. I got really back into watching Scandal again, and I've been binging like crazy. But you think I turn the TV on when I've got something in front of me like my morning pages or my morning routine or my first tasks of the day or when my team is meeting with me on Zoom? You think a TV is anywhere near me? No way. But this takes a lot of practice. You forget that it's okay to just be in your mind. You forget that it's okay to have your own thoughts. You forget that you don't have to hear some drama story right now, whether you think it's real because it's on the quote unquote news or it's definitely fake because it's on Netflix. You don't need to fill your brain. There's plenty of stuff going on in that brain. I would love, okay, not to call anybody out, but for those people who said to me during the morning pages conversation, Amy, I can't fill 3 pages. I can't possibly fill 3 pages. That's so much. I don't have 3 pages worth of stuff in my mind first thing in the morning. I got nothing in my mind first thing in the morning. Okay, sure. But in reality, you do. Because you wouldn't be having so many things turned on around you all the time to fill your mind with things other than what's already in your mind. This is an invitation to be okay with hearing your thoughts and just being really objective about it. Like, this is what I think. It's not what I believe. These are the thoughts that are happening, but that's not what I believe. And I'm still going to think through them because there might be something in there I can problem solve for myself of how to go after the life I want. And I can promise you that Olivia Pope in a beautiful white coat, saving the world, completely unafraid of getting blood all over her gorgeous outfit, isn't going to actually tell me how to build my business today. So once I came to that conclusion, it was pretty easy to say, you know what? Maybe I can cool it on the TV. Maybe I can just pick one show, 2 hours a week, everything else. If I'm serious, like serious as a heart attack about making money on my terms, having flexibility in my schedule, be able to see my family more, and get to charge what I'm worth in return for watching a little bit of less TV, I'll take that deal every day, every single day. And I have, and I did. Took some time. Like I said, going through a binge season at the moment, but it's not all the time. It's not every day. I can't watch TV every day. I wish I had the time, but I don't. I am not wishful of that because I'm building a business that makes me happy and that takes me to the next level. My third habit that I had to quit was relying on to-do lists. This sounds counterintuitive, I'm sure, but to-do lists are great because, like I was talking about before, where you have so many things in your brain that you've got to think about and so many things you got to work through and so many things you need to organize. To-do lists can be useful. To-do lists are great for just getting your brain dumped onto paper, but they are useful. I am not relying on them. It's important that they exist, but they do not equate to productivity. If you stare at an endless to-do list and that's it, you will be overwhelmed to the end and you will not be able to become efficient enough to grow a business. When you are becoming an owner, when you are organizing the state of things and delegating and deciding what you have to have your hands on and what you don't and stopping the micromanaging, you can't look at a to-do list because you'll get so bogged down with all that there is to do. So it's very, very, very important that you don't do this. Now, that being said, why is my bullet journal useful? My bullet journal is a great place for all the things I think about, the brain dumps, the to-do lists, the random thoughts I have, the notes that I want to make that I don't know where to put. I put everything in my bullet journal. That being said, I don't look at it and go, what am I doing today? Absolutely not. I have to qualify all those things that I wrote down, because even if I wrote it down, that's something that a virtual assistant can do. I don't need to do that. Or I'm glad I remembered that, but how important is it? I don't know that it's ever actually something that needs to get done. It might just be something I'm telling myself would be good to do. Being able to go through something and assess it is very important. So a prioritization strategy or process is extremely important to do when you have these to-do lists. You don't rely on the to-do list, you rely on your ability to prioritize so you can filter the to-do list. So I would look into what ways prioritization work best for you. My particular way of doing things is twofold. So first, I like to use the prioritization matrix. I like to look at things based on how important are they, high or low, and how urgent are they, high or low. And if you look up the prioritization matrix online, we'll put a link to something like this in the show notes. You can see how you can start to move things around and really analyze where do these tasks go in order, because you should not be doing things in order of urgency, because something may not be that important and maybe either needs to be given to someone else or doesn't need to get done at all, and you can just say no. You can say no. You can say no to something on your to-do list. So first I do the prioritization matrix, and then I will take the order of things according to that and put them on an Ivy Lee list. So the Ivy Lee list is a list of 6 things I'm going to do tomorrow. So at the end of the day, I reassess my priorities. I make my Ivy Lee list. The Ivy Lee list is in order of importance, not just urgency, which is determined by the prioritization matrix. And then I have my list of things to do for tomorrow. And then I go to my calendar block and I look and I make sure, hey, are these things all blocked on the calendar? Have I made time to do these things? And is it realistic for me to do all these things tomorrow? Maybe not. It's good to have a list of 6, but you don't have to get 6 things done either. At least you know what to do next when you finish something. Take a break, take a walk, come back. What's thing number 2? So stop relying on to-do lists. It's a great way to stay in the weeds and the unimportant tasks for too long and not make great enough strides in moving your business full-time and forward. The 4th habit I needed to quit was to never get outside of technology. So it felt at first like, you know what? I can grow my whole business from behind this laptop, sitting on my couch in my pajamas. Now, thank goodness that is kind of an opportunity for me. I mean, that is a selling point of this, you guys. In a COVID-19 quarantine world, business is still running over here. Things are changing. Things are shifting. It is not all perfect rainbows over here, but I don't have to not work because of this pandemic. That being said, as we all know, we miss human connection. We miss real world events. We miss these moments together. And it's very important that no matter what type of business that you grow, even if it is something you can do location independent and from anywhere and behind your laptop, you must get outside of technology. Right now, the best way you can do that is by Zoom calling someone, which still requires technology, but at least you're having a video call, a real connection with people. The thing that I did was make time and spend money on events to meet like-minded people, to learn from the best experts in the game, to go to events with people who could share their experience with me and feel more connected to me than an avatar and a handle on a social network. It's not the same. It's special to continue the conversation there, but it's not the same. I know you don't feel the same about me when you see a tweet as you see me on video talking to you. It's a different experience. Imagine the experience going from a YouTube video or a podcast to standing in front of me at a conference or at a mixer or something like that. You have to get outside of technology. And early on, that was so hard for me because I was so introverted and I loved not having to talk to anybody in real life. It was great. But I realized, you know what? I don't have to be nervous. I can increase my confidence just a little bit because I think I know what I'm talking about here. And I want people to know they can trust me and that they can work with me. And there's no better way to do that than to shake someone's hand. Of course, I do think the handshake is going to die after this pandemic. I'm not going to. But, maybe a little like an arm bump or just locking eyes with somebody and showing them that you're truly listening. So breaking that habit of never getting outside of technology was very important. And my fifth bad habit that I had to break to become self-employed was, and this sounds crazy, but I know you're going to think about it and go, I can relate. Being too shy about my passion. There's going to be many moments in time where you feel a little scared or a little timid or a little unsure about explaining what you love. Let me tell you how I can relate. First of all, I was doing this in 2009 and 2010. The state of Ohio had never even heard of a social media manager before. They thought it was free, like Facebook. And what else do you think wasn't socially acceptable? Recording yourself with a video camera to post it to the internet. Okay, at the time, that sounded real dirty. So working as a social media expert and as a YouTuber was not exactly something that was easy to talk about. Even today, where so many taboo things have moved on to better, more acceptable phases, it will feel difficult sometimes to talk about your passion. And the reason for that is it can be very scary to announce out loud, not just to yourself, not just to your scrolling finger, not just to your letters typing in a screen that no one's going to read but you, but to someone real, telling them what makes you excited. Because that's not the easy thing to talk about. The easy thing to talk about is the drama and people and events and the news and the weather and the talking points and the talking points and the talking points. But saying, hey, this is what I'm excited about right now. This is what brings me joy. This is what fills my cup. This is what makes me go round. That's a different kind of conversation that we're not always used to. And it turns out to come through as shyness about the thing we love. Let me tell you what. I have lost so much because of this bad habit. I have lost confidence. I have lost opportunities. I have lost a tremendous amount of money by being a little bit too shy to let the world know what I was kind of good at and what value I brought. I want you to think about this. Because I know so many of you are thinking, oh, I'll just do this thing on the side. I'll just upload it to the internet. I'm not going to tell anyone until I'm a massive success. And then they're going to jump on my bandwagon and they're going to love it. You're right. They will. But you will not enjoy the journey as much when you are totally alone. You do need people, even the people that don't totally get it, even the people who don't totally get it. They need to hear you. They need to know what you're thinking about. They need to know that you're doing something that makes you happy. Even if they don't get it and they want to question you all day long. Get used to answering those questions, because the better you get at that, answering questions to your biggest critics, one of them being you, the better you get at answering questions of the people who you actually help in the world. That is why I am the best of the best of the best at answering questions now. I'm getting ready to think that my keynote speeches are eventually going to be Q&A only, because it's so valuable for people. But if I didn't get used to answering the difficult questions people ask, how do you make money? How many clients do you have to pay your bills? How do you get people to sign up? How do you get people to watch your stuff? How did you figure that out? How did you take that picture? Answer the questions. Usually when we do, not only are we learning how much we can educate people, but we're hearing ourselves for the first time talk through our processes in a way that might make us rethink, like, I wonder if there's another way. I wonder if I could try something else. If you never talk to anyone about it, you never know. You stay on the hamster wheel and you don't always improve the process. And as much as we don't want to hear the critics and we want to pretend like we don't care what they think, you have to hear them. or you are just in this bubble and you can't get better. The only way to grow this thing from a part-time passion to full-time freedom is to get better. You don't want yes people around you. You want to limit the negative people around you. But the people who genuinely ask, talk to me about how this works, that's important because you're learning the basics of sales. And in any position of any business ever, that's a sales position. But in your position as an owner and probably also the janitor, the accountant, the check writer, the expense report maker, all of the content creator, the everything. You are in sales no matter what. Everything is sales. So do not be shy because you're learning a trade. And part of that trade is to learn how to talk about what you do and how you do it well. Those are the 5 bad habits that I have when it comes or have had in the past and how I had to break them in order for me to now be a successful entrepreneur of multiple businesses for more than a decade, which thank goodness, because I am so unemployable at this point. I do not want to go back. So just to recap, number 1, stop hitting the snooze. Number 2, cool it on too much television, okay? Number 3, stop relying on to-do lists. Look at prioritization methods. Number 4, get outside of technology. And number 5, don't be shy about your passion. Those are your action steps for today. Now, I told you I had a really, really fun thing to share with you. I'm excited to let you know that for the first time in 2 years, I will be making openings in my work to coach business clients. I'm very pumped about this because I love supporting people on their passion, helping them pave the way for their career and boosting their confidence in going after the life they want. I've not directly coached businesses in the last couple of years because I've been focused on the new direction of my company, Gatlu House. But now I know I have so much to share with people about their entrepreneurial journey, especially at a time when it is vitally important to take control of the controllable in our lives. I'll be sharing more details about this application process in the near future. But in addition to this today, I'm announcing the official opening of my mastermind membership program for people ready to turn their part-time passion into full-time freedom. And that is in the Gatlu Society. When you're making a big decision like self-employment in your life, you need to have the right people around you to lift you up and show you how to take steps toward a real business that can support you and your family while offering you the time and flexibility that brings you fulfillment and peace in your life. Building a business is more possible than ever today, but it can also be confusing and distracting, and it's easy to not know where to start. Not only do I have the roadmap to help you, I've been in your shoes, and I can tell you the mistakes to skip along the way. This is a no-commitment membership available by monthly or annual basis. Some of the features include monthly success trainings with real strategies and worksheets to map your steps to building, promoting, and charging for your product or service. Monthly mindset trainings to work through all the imposter syndrome and negative self-talk that holds us back from believing in our own capabilities. An exclusive community Facebook group for collaboration opportunities and peer questions. Monthly live Q&As with me, regular guest fireside chats so you can pick the brains of brilliant people to determine what they did to become successful, access to the Society Collection, which is an unlimited replay archive of all the trainings and calls as long as you're a member, and so much more. I mean, I'm already out of breath, but I do want to say that I'm doing a big bonus for the kickoff of the society for all annual members. When you join at the annual level, you will not only save a little cash, I will be sending you signed copies of Good Morning Good Life, the Good Morning Good Life Planner, and Vlog Like a Boss to your mailbox. And don't worry, we will be COVID-19 protection friendly with this little bonus. So definitely excited about that. Finally, a perk that I hope you can feel good about, but is more for us to do right by ourselves while also helping the world around us. I'm currently partnering with the reputable and brilliant nonprofit organization, Pencils of Promise. You might know them for building schools in developing nations to educate children. But they also do really important work in what's called the WASH program, which stands for Water, Sanitation, and Hygiene. This is a great service to provide children with access to clean water, private bathrooms, and education on the importance of hygiene and why we wash our hands, as well as showing little girls best menstrual health practices. Pencils of Promise can provide WASH programming to a student for an entire year for only $20. So our goal of raising $10,000 will help bring WASH to 500 students. So to help us get closer to this goal, this really big goal that we have, I'm proud to say that I will be donating a percentage of proceeds of the Gatlu Society to this campaign if you join before the doors close in a couple of weeks. You are one of the first to hear about the Gatlu Society and all of the things that come with it, but you'll only be able to see the details and find out more information by going to the link in the show notes. That's at gatlu.com/membership. That's GATLUW.com/membership. So check that out so you can find out how you can join today. Not only will you be moving yourself forward into this amazing next phase of your life, you will also be helping children around the world. That is all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Remember, subscribe for good vibes, kiss the ones you love, and go after the life you want. I'll see you back here next Tuesday. Cheers.